Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling feel like.
Told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
Super kick, hot tag!
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
So that you need to be careful in the locker room.
It definitely seems that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw horse.
Raw horse?
Oh my god!
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
It was Frankie Nash.
Awesome.
This podcast is, quite frankly, the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
Today spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download. What is up, everybody? It's me, it's SPD, holding down the fort solo for now. We're going to have a special guest coming through, and the Mind Runner is going to be joining. Interest of time, we wanted to get things kicking off because, man, my adrenaline is in the veins. It is pumping right now because, man, what a explosive collision tonight. I do prefer it on Saturdays especially because we're doing Dynamite Download on live on Thursday nights. However, but while I was watching this, prepping for the show, I was just like, geez, man, this is just an incredible match. I mean, show in general. But the way it ended, man, I got like the hairs on my arm are standing up. I got to give the props to where props are due to both Dustin and Fletcher. If you guys watched that live and are tuning in right after the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We will have a formal celebration eventually, but this is Dynamite Download 200, officially 200 episodes. I've been here since day one. We recruited Mind Runner, I want to say maybe about 75-ish or more episodes. So he's been a crucial point of Dynamite Download for very, very long. But yes, Courtney, if you missed Collision, go back and watch it because it is must-see from top to bottom. I thought I had a match of the night picked out, and then the main event hit, and wow, I just think it was just such a tight, solid show with the Darby stuff going on, the Moxley stuff, the tag team division, the TNT title change, and so much going on with Dynamite, and I was doing a live tally. And so we're going to start things off with our draft standings. So without further ado, we'll pull up the draft standings and we'll see where we're at. I'm not feeling good right now. So unfortunately, some of my teammates are hurt or not really featured as much. But let's see where we're at with Season 6 draft standings to kick off the show tonight. We got ourselves a tie at the top. Steven is scratching and crawling his way to the top, fighting for Ranger Man's spot. And Mind Runner scratching is calling his way back up to SPD. But if you saw us, we're talking a few weeks ago on our show, Mind and I got a thing going. I think we bet wearing chaps or something like that. So it's a first. We don't have to be first, but mine and I, whoever is going to be in front of each other. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on Collision and Dynamite. I mean, back-to-back shows giving you a lot of points. So we're going to have a little break for a few days. We got a couple matches I want to talk about announced for Forbidden Door, which is really exciting stuff. Maybe we'll have a little hot take coming up and predict a few things moving forward. But here are the standings. We got a tie over there with Bobby and Cray too. Both Bobby and Cray are really capitalizing on the second half of this draft right here. Once again, it is July 31st right now as we're speaking, and it is going through All Out in Toronto. And so we still have a full month of August and almost a full month of September. Lots of points. Got Forbidden Door. We got the +3 bingo card for Forbidden Door, +3 bingo card for the All Out to round out the draft here. But I'm going to see. I'm hoping as we're creeping towards Forbidden Door, some of my picks are going to pay off because I went totally non-AEW. I went pretty much all New Japan Pro Wrestling guys and gals for my +3 because I was kind of hoping for them to get featured in typical AEW fashion. They get a little bit featured leading into Forbidden Door. But before we dive into Dynamite and Collision, we're gonna bounce around a little bit here and there. I want to talk about those two matches that got announced for Forbidden Door. Let me pull up the first one. Really, really exciting stuff. Where is it at? Swerve Strickland versus Okada. I mean, the writing was in the stars. It was in the sand. We knew kind of it was going to be coming, but now it is official. I'm really excited that Tony Khan and AEW is really starting to build this pay-per-view. I mean, we are just over 3 weeks away from this. So this right here, as I talked about on our show, is worth the price of admission. This is worth the price of pay-per-view alone as it is. Okada versus Swerve is going to be an absolute banger. This is definitely probably going to be the purest wrestling best build that we're going to get over the next few weeks that we're going to get in AEW. Definitely a marquee feud ahead of us. So I'm really stoked about this being announced for, that's right, Steven, for take my money right now. I'm ready to cash it in. I'm ready to cash in that contract, cash in that money in the bank because this alone, like I said, it is worth it, man. It is. I can't wait because, and we're going to get almost 4 weeks more of build of this because we saw an awesome promo from both guys. We saw a lot of stuff shenanigans going on with Collision or Dynamite last night. And so they're really going to start to put fuel and fire on this one. So, I was traveling a little bit today as well, so I didn't get to watch the full Collision. So love if you guys chimed in a little bit. I think I started about halfway. I started the show before the FTR Guns match, which I definitely want to touch a little bit on. But another match that was announced for Forbidden Door, which was Athena versus Toni Storm. Now, both these matches are AEW friendly. We're not the typical Forbidden Door matches or feuds that we are. So, but these are essentially backbone wrestlers for AEW, with Toni Storm and Athena now transitioning to more full-time stuff with AEW. So I love that they are backboning a pay-per-view for AEW with two homegrown, per se, talents as we are getting with the Okada and Swerve and Tony and Mercedes. But these two matches are just going to be absolutely incredible. Both these matches, you can just put those two matches on and we would be happy campers here at Dynamite Download. And I'm sure all you fans would be happy with that as well. Now, I'm really curious of where it's going to go. Well, we're going to get the tag team title match, which I don't have the updated bracket, but I do want to touch base on, let me see if I have a photo of that one, the match tonight, which was, to me, I thought it was going to be, or it was the match of the night, was the FTR versus, well, we got two tag team matches. One to kick off the show, which was Bandito or Brodito, which is a funny name and great chemistry with those guys. So you got Brodito versus GOA kicking things off. I loved the chemistry with these guys. It's definitely like one of those duos that you didn't know you wanted, but you are loving. And that was the same thing, same comment that I had to say about Swerve and Ospreay. Two guys, Bandito, as we talked about on our kind of all-in show, just the interactions that we had with him throughout the weekend. Mad respect for Bandito. Just love what he's been doing in the ring, in Ring of Honor, as the world champ, and then now featured in this tag team championship tournament, title shot tournament. But the Brodito is a cool name. It's a cool gimmick. I think it's a good filler for now, until we get Buddy Matthews back in action. And I'm really excited for when that happens, because Buddy Matthews and Brody King, the Hounds of Hell, are definitely a combo that you do not want to mess with. And those two guys are they're the real deal. So this temporary combo, these baby faces that are paired up, I really enjoy, and I'm glad they're advancing. They're going to be playing against the Young Bucks. I'm really going to be curious of how that chemistry is going to go with the Young Bucks. But as I mentioned before, the match of the night early on was, to me, the match of the night early on was the Bang Bang Gang versus FTR. I got to give credit where credit is due. Oh, man, I popped total big time when we saw Card Blade and Card Colton. Mind Runner told this last week about having a Card Colton. We didn't know we were going to see both the Card Blade and Card Colton, but I think this is not only hilarious, but it's a great idea to keep those guys featured, keep them relevant, keep us wanting more and on the edge of our seat, wanting them to return sooner than later, healthy and full force. But this match, this match on Collision was incredible. The amount of false finishes, the crowd was hot for both guys, for both teams, and everything in between. You could tell why that chemistry was there in the past when the Gun Club was versing FTR versus for the titles and so on, and so many times they're featured together. But this combo with Juice and Austin is working so well right now, and that just goes to show like the flexibility and the chemistry with the whole Bang Bang Gang. And so I can't wait for them to return at full health. But man, I thought they were going to get it, especially with the crowd behind them and everything in between. But we know the money feud, as I've been saying over the last few weeks, the money feud and the money match has to be FTR versus the Young Bucks. And I predicted that before we even had the brackets officially announced. And so I'm excited. That's got to be it. We saw a confrontation to them face to face last night on Dynamite, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and we're all going to be just eating that up. Could you imagine FTR and Young Bucks going toe to toe again, and that's going to lead them to a tag team title tournament, or tag team title opportunity? Absolutely incredible. Let's talk about this match. We're going to shift over to Dynamite. This is Dynamite Download 200, and this was the first match of the night. I got to say, Dynamite, the way it kicked off, I absolutely loved. It was just really, really creative, and I loved the video package to give us the hype of having that amazing rematch between Hangman and Moxley, which we'll definitely talk about a little bit later. But just absolutely incredible video packages that we're getting out of AEW as of late. Youngest Men Alive versus the Young Bucks, or if we really want to say, I mean, they're not really the Young Bucks, but they were Talent Name. So featured Talent Name. I literally laughed out loud when we saw that the Young Bucks were in the ring already and didn't get a proper intro, didn't get the proper pyro, didn't get the proper graphic. This side of the Bucks is absolutely hilarious. But they are going to, I think, just continue to win us over as fans. And some of this stuff I did not predict or see coming. What they're doing with already in the ring, with what they're doing with the video packages, what they're saying in the Full Circle stuff was really cool of how they're saying they're getting their pay deducted for these $100,000 matches, the $400K matches, all these matches that are for a purse and a prize is all coming out of the former EVP's pocket. So really, really full circle stuff. And, for a while I was like, why are all these matches like for money and all this? Like, I guess it makes it a little more meaningful. But for the Young Bucks to put it in perspective or to, I guess per se, cats out of the bag and about how that's coming from their pockets is hilarious. The Bucks are just so, yes, the Bucks are so great. And they continue to, I guess you could say, reinvent themselves, continue to keep it fresh, but also continue to have outstanding matches every single time they're in the ring between those ropes. And I can't wait for the time to come for them to be featured or to be tag team champs once again. Because honestly, I know Hurt Syndicate's got the titles. We got FTR, we got Jet Speed coming up, we got other tag teams coming up. But right now, and honestly, and since AEW's history, there's no better tag team in AEW that has been around than the Young Bucks. And I love them. I'm a Young Bucks mark. Happy to support them through thick and thin, even if I am a resident baby face per se with that. But loved what they did here. It was absolutely hilarious. Great match. And, after the match, Swerve coming out, Okada coming out first, and then Swerve coming out, back to that full circle, which was leading to the announcement of the match at Forbidden Door. So Forbidden Door already is starting to shape up to be a fantastic match. I hope we get to see the likes of Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., AZM. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know what to expect with Forbidden Door, especially with the heaviness. I know it's a New Japan and AEW. I wonder if we're going to get some sprinkle in with CMLL talent or whatnot, but I don't, we just saw Dustin Rhodes. So if you didn't watch the main event of Collision, go back and watch this. Yes, Brian is watching it right now. It is jaw-dropping. These two guys were just absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm kind of bummed Dustin didn't get a few more defenses in, but I feel like this was just a placeholder. I'm so glad Fletcher won in this element tonight versus the Audible at All In. We all were like, Fletcher's going to beat Cole. He's going to be Cole. And great, yeah, that's probably the plan. Then when you had to Audible that with Cole's injury, then I think this really strengthened his win, is going to strengthen his run to start off. If you did not see the tacks down the pants, Shattered Dreams, it only gets more gruesome from there, Brian. So just keep on watching with that. Really interesting and great match, but got to give props to those guys. They're just so great. So great with that one. So let's talk about, I want to say our father, our father here. Oh, speaking of our father, hey!
Oh, Father! Hello! Can you hear me all right? I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi.
Hey, you're pulling an SPD.
Yeah, I know. The tables have turned. The tables have turned.
I definitely can hear you. We can hear you. Welcome, Mine Bucky. The tables have turned. I'm on hotel Wi-Fi too. So if you saw, I don't know if I posted it on our Dynamite download story on Instagram, but I was I'm up here in northern Michigan, just riding the sand dunes, feeling the flow.
Very nice.
In my Bronco, my Bronco, and so here on this Wi-Fi, but man, chatting all things that's happened over the last 48 hours. Welcome, bro. Happy 200 episodes, man.
200! I can't believe it, man. It's awesome. How's my connection? Am I delayed a little bit?
A little bit, but that's all right. I'm sure I am too. But it's the show must go on, as we've been saying.
Yes.
I mean, as how many issues I've had over these 200 plus episodes, being a world traveling man. But I already showed our draft rankings. Mine. I don't know if you want to see these really quick, or you know what? I'll show them at the end again. I'll show them at the end. I did a tally up. Was already talking about a lot of stuff. If you missed Collision, I was saying match of the night for a while was FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang, and then the Dustin versus Fletcher. Incredible.
Unreal.
We're talking about some Dynamite stuff. I'm curious your take on our father right now. What do you think?
Yeah.
After last night's promo, I know he was a little spitting out some heel stuff.
Yeah.
And then he got taken out by two other guys, the former Patriarchy. He's like, do you think he's starting to try to find himself or what?
He is, but you got to remember, he said what he said. He's still an asshole, and he's not going to change. Like he's not going to suddenly go face. And Christian Cage is going to be Christian. That's one of the things that's going to be consistent. But regardless of that, what this was setting up is exactly what's destined to happen. Is the reunification of Cope and Christian, Edge and Christian, essentially. And that's exactly what this was setting up. Yeah, I understand not digging the promo, but that was Christian. He was saying, I've not suddenly turned babyface. I'm still a heel. But he's obviously what's going on is now you've got this Nick Wayne and Mama Wayne. I mean, let's be honest. To use his words, Christian has already dug himself a deep, deep, gaping hole for himself. I'm not sure there's any other interpretation for that, but yeah, he's got himself in a deep hole, and now he's struggling with it. And I think the setup here is eventually that he's going to have no one else to turn to, but eventually Cope's going to need some backup to take out FTR, and that's when the two of them are going to unite. So that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. I was getting a couple alerts on my webpage. Yeah, as Steven said, not digging this promo, like I feel like this was one of the few misses from Christian in a sense, like because he set the bar so high. And
yeah, if he set the bar so high. By the way, while we're establishing our connection, this episode of our 200th Dynamite is brought to you, as Stephen Chambers pointed out, it's brought to you by Bucky Nuggets. Bucky Nuggets, these are incredible. Don't tell Deb I'm already getting into them. I wasn't supposed to get into them. But these are amazing. These are fantastic. These Bucky Nuggets. I get it too. But I think what we're going to see, I'm confident. Oh, we got a super sticker. Let's do a super chat party. I think I can access it from my phone. Yep. All right. Without further ado, let's get ourselves a super chat party. Thank you, BR. And as I think SPD is about to pop back on, but let's do super chat party.
Super chat party!
We had a super chat party, and I just announced that. Well, you were talking about Christian's promo, and you understood what was going on. Like you understood it wasn't his best promo. You were kind of agreeing with Steven, and then it cut out.
The show must go on our wife. I was saying thank you, Brian. Love the show. Thanks for your dedication to us. We wouldn't continue to do what we do without you guys and our motivation to just have some fun, and just to, bring some new light, new perspective, some hot takes, a lot of positivity and everything moving forward. So it's like, thank you everyone who tune in every single week, whether you're a first-time viewer or a consistent viewer. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, love that. But I was going to say, Christian, I don't think this is his best promo. I expected more. I expected a little bit of remorse. I expected a little bit more of a little bit of sympathy, a little bit of maybe just like a sunshine, maybe a little flicker, just a little bit. But no, he leaned it. It was just a typical like Christian, promo. So I'm like, what's going to happen like on that?
I hear you, but I almost feel like that's too soon. That's too soon. He's still got to be the asshole for a while before he finally finds his redemption. But you're right. I mean, it wasn't what we were kind of maybe expecting, but it definitely, definitely. Again, am I locked up? I think I'm good.
There you go.
But speaking of,
by the way, what?
I was telling earlier that this episode is brought to you by Bucky Nuggets. These are freaking awesome.
Yeah, chomping away and making my mouth salivate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it? I'm trying not to make too much noise here.
No.
Pull my mic.
No, I mean, I just see you going in the bag. Like I'm like, dang, Bucky's. I wish we were sponsored by Bucky's because I love their concept. I love everything. Like, it's a great pit stop for it. So I'll be passing one in a couple days. Probably in a week and a half, and I'll definitely be making a pit stop. I do love their brisket, their 3-meat sandwich, or their XXL brisket sandwich as well. But anyways, I did not see an official. This seems almost, other than MVP, it almost seems like an official exoneration of the Hurt Syndicate. And so I don't think this is too soon. I like where this is going. I'm very curious. I feel like we need to have the Hurt Syndicate featured more, especially now that we're down to 3 teams remaining in the tag team title tournament. Hurt Syndicate need to come out on commentary. Hurt Syndicate need to come out on the ramp and watch some of the matches. They need to be shown. The tag team champions need to be shown on this. Now, but back to this, like the MJF, being his own way. That's typical. He's tied up in a lot of stuff going on, and he's center of the story. Happy Gilmore 2. We have the Briscoe stuff, the Hangman stuff, the Hurt Syndicate stuff, as we talked about on that as well. Steven, Pinnacle reunion, Hurt Syndicate feud. We talked about this too as well. Like, in a perfect world, we would book FTR and MJF versus Hurt Syndicate plus new additional Wardlow. Now, we know MVP has gone into the ring in AEW with the Hurt Syndicate as trios. However, the money feud would be that. You have so much story tied in. You have the new story with the Hurt Syndicate and then kicking out of the Hurt Syndicate and vice versa. And then you have that so much story of the OG Pinnacle with those 4 guys that remain here in AEW. Sign us up any day, all day. Bring it on.
Absolutely. And I think that's what they're doing. I think, obviously, we know TK listens to Dynamite Download, and he doesn't always agree with our ideas. But I'm telling you, that's what's gonna. I think I see Tony. Tony's he's very strategic. He uses strategy, and we're setting everything up. We're definitely setting up for MJF is going to go, seek out FTR. There was a reason why he reacted the way he did of their involvement with FTR. So that's going to be the eventual feud, is FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate, and MJF's going to get involved. And I hope they do it this way. I think this is what Tony Khan's got planned, but again, he's probably got something cool, is that MJF's going to talk about reforming the Pinnacle. Wardlow's going to come out, and MJF's going to think Wardlow's rejoining the Pinnacle, and then Wardlow's just going to turn around, and Bobby Lashley and Shelton are standing by his side, and that's the deal that was made. So I don't know. I'm excited for it, but you also have the end of Dynamite was compelling because of the whole thing with Mark Briscoe. And, it's interesting that, MJF as a heel, he puts the baby faces over subtly, even in his his negative comments, you can there's a little read between the lines, and he kind of is putting it out there that Mark Briscoe should be taken more serious. He's going more of a serious route there. I think he's always going to be the wild man with the word of the day. But in this case, I think Mark is that they're really building up a huge, a continuation feud with Mark Briscoe and MJF, and of course Hanger is in the mix as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this evolves. But yep, eventually it's going to come down to MJF and Hangman. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I kind of like. Can I just say too? I kind of like when Hangman and Mark Briscoe are standing there together. I wouldn't mind seeing that as a tag team. That would be a Buck Wild. They should call it Buck Wild. That would be a Buck Wild tag team.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah,
I definitely like that. Good idea. But speaking of Briscoe versus Ricochet rematch from that stretcher. Was it a stretcher match or an ambulance match?
Yeah, stretcher match. Yep.
Stretcher match.
Yeah, stretcher match, but ambulance, yeah.
But this is definitely, you have to, as I mentioned on our show last week and beyond, was you got to build him up. You got to build Briscoe up. You got to build him up to be a legitimate. I mean, he was Ring of Honor World Champ. I mean, come on, he is legitimate.
Yeah.
And I think he's becoming definitely one of the top 2-3 baby faces in the company right now with everything that he does, and he's so fun to watch. And so ahead of the main event next week on Dynamite. And so it's going to be really exciting and very interesting where it's going to go. I feel like we're going to get a cheap win from MJF. But the Ricochet, I don't think he takes any negativity losing here at all. I think this was definitely a good storytelling moment and the reason why they had this match. And I like the promo beforehand. Ricochet, it's like kind of like, hey, focus on me. The match is right here. Briscoe kept talking to the camera and looking over there, or trying to get a hold of MJF's attention. No, talk to me. Definitely a great match. I mean, Briscoe puts on these matches every single week that are just really, really fun to watch and very innovative. And his offense is very brutal, and he surprises you a lot in a good way. And I love watching him, and I love cheering for him, Briscoe.
Yes, and the word of the day is perseverance, because the chicken is going to persevere against MJF's, and then later he's going to do exactly what Mr. Steven Chambers said. I love it, because you're going to get himself in a match with the new TNT champion, Kyle Fletcher, versus Mark Briscoe, and he's going to learn the ancient art of redneck kung fu, as he's going to beat the Pepto-Bismol out of the Kyle Fletcher.
That is right. Yeah, I mean,
I love
did you get a chance to watch the main event?
Oh, absolutely. I watched all of Dynamite last night, and then tonight I listened to Collision while Deb watched it in the car as we drove. So I have my top performer for Collision also, but last night it was really tough, because to me Hangman was the top performer, but Mark Briscoe could have easily stolen that from Hangman for me last night, because of that just the match, the way, and having a dance partner like Ricochet, because Ricochet, despite his heel persona, really he comes to work every time. I also kudos to the Gates of Agony. They're getting a lot more of a presence. I like matching them up with Ricochet. Toa Leona has been eating his Wheaties. I think he slimmed down. He looks like he's he looks leaner and meaner, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
And he's got shoes leaner and meaner now.
Yeah. So I think he's
leaner, meaner, and he's got shoes on.
Yes, yeah. They no more bare feet, I guess. But yeah, I thought this was great, but Mark Briscoe just continues to anytime Mark Briscoe's in a match, it's a must-watch match because of him. It's just he's a perpetual baby face. He's always fun to watch, and just his promos, everything. I love that and we can talk a little bit later about the conglomeration, but I love that he's still kind of the de facto leader of the conglomeration. But I like strap push Briscoe to the moon. Let's get him some gold, not Ring of Honor gold either. Let's get him some TNT gold.
Yeah, I mean, I don't any kind of gold. I would love to see that moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw and knew. I talked a little bit about what we saw on tonight's show, but
yeah,
let's talk about, speaking of gold. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the Hangman and Moxley rematch. And I touched on it before you got on the show, but the video package that they did with a movie announcer hyping this up with talking from Texas to Chicago, the presentation, the build to this was just absolutely spot on, incredible. And I love this graphic as well. But did this match deliver for you?
Yes, 100%. And I think we talked about this last week, that Hangman got the victory at All In, but it was a submission victory, and rarely has Moxley been pinned in a loss. And so what needed to happen in this is Hangman needed to get the 1, 2, 3, the visible pin on Moxley after all the shenanigans, and get the 1, 2, 3, and that's what he got. I love that everything came out. Like, you had, they did the fake out where Claudio and Wheeler tried to pretend to be the distraction when Marina Shafir tried to sneak in, and yet that still couldn't put Hangman away. And then Hangman had that crazy-eyed, buckshot lariat and the dead eye into the table. The stuff that they did. This was less bloody, less deathmatch, but it was still like just as in fact, I almost felt like this was almost more intense because of the lack of blood, because we weren't expecting deathmatch, and it was just brutal. The right there, the dead where Hangman turns this into that dead eye into the table. By the way, I know we said this before, but I got to give a shout out to this crowd. This crowd at the Aragon Ballroom, especially the crowd that's we're right behind the announce desk. Their reactions were my reactions as well. It was contagious. It was such a great atmosphere. I do hope AEW gets to do more big arenas, but I hope they continue to also focus on smaller, more compact, yet louder and more fun arenas like the Aragon Ballroom. And it was great. But yeah, he got the 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. We mentioned earlier the Darby thing too, which, I mean, we'll talk about Darby and Collision tonight. I don't know if he's going to be if attempted murder is going to be in the cards when you're a wrestler, but we'll talk about that later. But Darby in the Aragon Ballroom, of course, the first thing he's going to go is, "Hey, yo, Tony, can I jump off of that?" Of course, that's what he's thinking. I guarantee that's the first thing he did when he saw this. He goes, "Tony, I'm going to jump off, okay?" And sure enough, he did. And I like how he took out more security guards than he did the Death Riders. But, yeah, Darby, you're an animal, dude, and I love it.
This match 100% delivered. I was a little shocked about the little bit of interference of Shafir and a little bit of interference of the Death Riders, which was expected no matter what. But the payoff was this balcony, crossbody drop on everybody. So that was the best of that. But yes, in the ring, 1, 2, 3. This was, as we mentioned last week, was definitely kind of the stamp of approval, stamp of like it's it, and like that was it. That was the final thing, as we saw on Collision. I don't have the graphic because it's so live, but the Darby saga of Collision. Yes, is he going to be getting a warrant for his arrest? with a kidnapping and attempted murder on Moxley. Love that. And we could see this coming. Like, yes, lots of unfinished business for Darby. And, the time off, absence makes the heart grow fonder and stronger. And, like, this is great. This is perfect segue. Finally, we are splitting it. We're getting the Darby saga with the Death Riders, and we're getting the MJF saga with the Hangman Page. And so that is a perfect segue for both guys, in my opinion. Definitely marquee moments for both of them. So really cool stuff that we saw. I was shocked at the things we saw on Collision with Darby. I didn't expect this to happen so soon.
Hey, Mox, does this napkin smell like chloroform?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I thought that whole thing was great. Darby, he is Sting's son. He's doing all the Sting type mind games. He just walks away. He's up. You see him on there, and then he walks away. I'm for it. I think this is going to be. I think, and Jonathan Good is all about this. He's not for his own personal fame. He is for the business. He eats and lives and breathes. If you read Mox, you know how he lives for this business, and he's going to be putting Darby over and making it really compelling, but like at his level. So we're strap yourself in. This Mox and Darby saga is just going to be insane, and it's going to be like Bucky Nuggets. No, it's not going to be like Bucky. No, it's actually not going to be like Bucky Nuggets. It's going to be like Bucky Jerky. This delicious, I've got right here, the Bohemian garlic beef jerky. It's super tasty, mouth-watering, but also you're going to get so much nutrition. There's so much to it. That's what it's going to be, and I'm here for it. Sign it up. And yes, Dynamite and Collision, these last two episodes have they're almost like the season finale and season premiere of the new season of AEW, because like you said, it wrapped up the Hangman Moxley saga with a bow, and now Hanger can focus on MJF, and Death Riders have got to deal with Darby. It's going to be insane. It's going to be great. Be interesting to see if Pac returns, but yes, I think Eddie's coming back, and I think Eddie's going to have a problem with Moxley. He's going to blame it on Claudio.
Have to.
He's going to blame it on Claudio, but he's going to be like, I don't even know who you are, man. You used to be my brother. Who are you? I can just see him having that. So the question is, are we going to get a blood and guts of some kind, or Team Darby versus Death Riders?
I love Buc-ee's, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. So in addition to our sponsorship with Buc-ee's, I feel like we need a sponsorship with Dude Wipes, especially all the new stuff that you're eating. So you can go to the bathroom for some Dude Wipes as well.
Yeah, that'll be later.
You said the magic word, blood and guts. There's a lot of stuff circling after this Collision of a potential blood and guts. It seemed like there's a line in the sand that was officially drawn with multiple teams. So could this lead to a women's blood and guts? Now, your Collision Control Center mind, you talked a lot about all women's pay-per-view and the strength of the women's division. And Tony Khan recently came out about saying how the women's tag team titles are on hold due to some recent injuries. But we have seen over the last few weeks just kind of a low-key good stuff going with the women's division. But after tonight, with the resurgence of Ty J, with the resurgence of Bane and Penelope Ford back in the mix of everything, it is definitely heating up quickly with the women's division. Now, we got a potentially 5-on-5. Could this be? Like, do you see this coming?
Yep, I think it's planned. I think this is, again, Tony Khan. He recognizes that, whatever his plan was for the tag team titles isn't quite ready yet, but now he's pivoting. And I think we're going to get, whether it's a blood and guts or just a 5-on-5, whatever they're doing. I remember when I thought it was weird that Megan Bayne came out when she did to beat up Queen Aminata, and I thought that was just kind of odd. Like, why is Megan Bayne involved with the triangle trapezoid of madness? But tonight it made sense, and it made sense because you've got your 5 baddies. You've got Megan, you've got Mega Bad, Megan Bayne, and Penelope, and you've also got the triangle of trapezoids, the geometry of badasses or whatever. But Queen Aminata comes out to try to make the save with Willow. Then you got Ty Mello, and you've got Anna Jay, and who's going to make them feel the wrath. She's already issued that great Bane impersonation. I'm talking about Harley Cameron. Penelope, Megan, you didn't fear me till I put on the mask. That whole thing is great. So if you team up those baddies versus Ty J and Queen Aminata, Willow, and Harley Cameron, and you have some room to play with loyalties. Where's Chris Statlander going to fit in with this whole thing?
True.
Is Statlander going to be kind of that rogue agent? Is somebody on the babyface team going to get injured and they need a last minute replacement, and Statlander reluctantly agrees to join? Can Willow and Stat coexist? There's a whole story there. And I think it was definitely on purpose tonight also that Statlander had her match right before Willow, because they want to keep that in that whole story in back of everybody's mind of what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of cooking, and I love that they added so much more into the women's division tonight on Collision. And I would love to see a Blood and Guts. I would love to see an Anarchy in the Arena, or just something out there that's different than the all-star 8-woman tag and things like that. So I feel like you saw some weapons. You saw that's just a little taste of what we're going to get moving forward. But last night's show, tag team title match. You called this on your Collision Control Center, hoping that this was going to be a tag team title match. And so Tony Storm versus Alex Windsor versus Tina and Billy Starks. I was hoping this would get a little bit more showcase. It was kind of placed a little bit different. Real quick, back to what you said, Steven, I think it was you that in the chat, but the placement of the Mox Hangman match.
Yep.
When that was starting, I was like, why is this not the main event? This is the biggest match of the month other than at All In. But it made sense to not rush it if you needed to rush it. If they needed to extend it, it protects it. That's why I love how AEW does often kick off the show with their essentially quote-unquote main event match, so they can kind of cook. And if they got to cut things short, cut segments, cut matches, rebook them, whatever it may be, it gives them that flexibility. Yes, they also are going totally overruns at all costs just because they're just cooking with awesome programming. So I did like that. But back to this match, tag team title match. These women are just bringing down the house. Last week we had Windsor and Athena at our top performers. How did this one work out for you, man?
Oh my goodness, I loved it. First of all, I'm a huge fan of all 4 of these ladies. Alex Windsor is such a refreshing breath of fresh air, shot of adrenaline into the women's division. First of all, the thing is she's nothing like Will Ospreay, her significant other, and I love that. She is earning this credit all on her own, all on her lonesome, but this tandem of her with Tony Storm is just, it's not only a great rub, but we got to see how great Alex Windsor is in the ring, both when wrestling Athena and in this tag team match, and how she reminds me of when Thunder Rosa first started wrestling in AEW. I see a lot of similarities. There's a lot of her moveset and her kind of technique is very similar. I love the dynamic between the two, her and Tony. That waltzing kick that they did to the corner was those chef's kiss. And Tony Storm, of course, she's top notch. She's brilliant. She's one of the top 3 in AEW. wrestlers that include men and women. She's huge. She's selling out. There's a reason why her line for her photos was a mile long. There's a reason why she's selling so much merch. It's because she's awesome. And I think this dynamic of Athena with Billy Starks in the as her minion, I think this dynamic is against Toni Storm and Alex Windsor is great. And I just love that this all four ladies cooked on all cylinders. But I have to say, out of all four of the ladies, to me, Alex Windsor was the star of this match. There were the things that she was doing, the brutality that she not only received but also did. She's an excellent dance partner for any of these ladies, and I thought that they were fantastic. So I thought the match was the best match of the night. I mean, that's kind of like how delicious is the bloomin' onion when you've got a steak coming and you already ate a steak earlier. I mean, it was great, but you also had the match after it, and then you had the match earlier. But the women's division right now is cooking, and isn't it weird? And this is not a slam against them, but it's crazy how the women's division in AEW is like as good as it's ever been, I think, and it's without its founding stars. Can you imagine how things would be if Riho, Shida, Nyla, Britt Baker, and Thunder were back in the mix? I know Thunder's take recently has been around, but she's taking some time off. Imagine the previous superstars if they were also in the women's division mix right now. It would be insane. It would be insane right now.
You're right. The depth is there, and we had the hot take from ALW about a potential all-women's pay-per-view if that would happen.
Yes.
I'm looking at
American
these.
Cowboy.
Yeah, there you go. Fletcher, man, he's marking out at what happened last on Collision a few moments ago.
Yep.
Really, really incredible main event that we saw. I touched base a little bit about that. But last night, our top performers of the night for Dynamite, I didn't put a graphic because we didn't get it officially in. But top performer of the night, both of us, we had to do a clean sweep for Hangman.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only was the match and the victory incredible, but the post end of Dynamite stuff was really incredible as well. Now, looking to Collision, do you have a top performer of Collision?
Yes. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher. And I got to tell you, I know some people groan about Dustin Rhodes. I am a Dustin Rhodes fan. He is that guy that Tony calls to say, hey, if you, I need you to do this match. I need you to do this, do that. And he got his flowers. He got the big gold victory in Texas. And that was such a surprise to all of us, but it was such a great move. Yeah. He wasn't going to be a long champion. I think we kind of knew this, but by God, did Dustin Rhodes make Kyle Fletcher earn this match? And what I love is I think if Dustin was going to shoot on Kyle Fletcher in an interview, this was Dustin putting Kyle Fletcher over. This was basically Kyle Fletcher kind of got the unofficial nod from Dustin that this kid has got it. And because he put him through it. Literally, a shattered dreams with a thing of tacks down his pants. Oh, geez. And the screwdriver spot was insane. And what I liked about the screwdriver spot too is Kyle Fletcher almost had to kill Dustin to take that title. He all but did that. And so to me, but Kyle Fletcher was able to win. He earned the title tonight in his performance. And he took everything Dustin gave him. He was that. I always say this, the analogy of the dance partner. He was such a great dance partner for Dustin, and Dustin made sure he earned it, and he made sure he answered with everything. So Dustin still walks away looking good. He can ride off in the sunset, but I'm so proud of Dustin for putting on this match. I'm glad it wasn't just a regular match. I'm glad it was this. and Kyle Fletcher earned it, and he's deserves that title. And I think in the locker room, that's kind of Dustin's little nod to Kyle Fletcher. So
I'm so
fantastic.
glad. Yeah, very well said. I'm so glad that we saw him win the title there versus as I talked about a little bit earlier in our show before you joined, was instead of the audible at All In. You know, we kind of figured he was going to beat Adam Cole for the title, which would have been great. Mm-hmm. But the audible at All In, this makes it that much more meaningful. You have a win-win-win all around. You have the Dustin moment, then you have Dustin defending, then you have this moment, which makes his title win and his championship that much more meaningful. You know, we're going to bring him in right now. Aaron,
there he is.
There, ALW.
Cowboy.
Top performers of both Dynamite and Collision. Thank you for joining us as we're kind of, you know, wrapping things up on our show tonight. What do you think? Who is your top performer? Dare I say, or is it going to be a clean sweep of all of us, our Dynamite? And then who's going to be your top performer?
Wait. Hold on, SPD. You're asking. Aaron loves wrestling. We all know who his favorite wrestler is. You're asking who his top performer for Dynamite was. All right. It's got to be Moxley, or it's got to be Claudio, or I'm sure it's not who we think it is.
Reed the bandana. Yep, that's my all elite wrestler of Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the total package, perfect champ that you want to have to showcase with Hangman. But I know you're watching a lot of wrestling tonight. But did you get a chance to tune in to see some of the Collision?
Yeah, I'm actually watching it right now. I'm on the Dustin and Fletcher match, but it's been great so far. Halfway through it,
it's incredible. It's oof.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you see Dustin give the Shattered Dreams. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
I can't wait. But yeah, Dynamite was great last night. Had my little watch alone last night, and then tonight started my TNA, which that was pretty good. Had some technical difficulties. We had a storm run through, and you know, Wi-Fi can't work without power. So
technical difficulties.
We had a little technical difficulties.
Yeah, that never happens on this show.
Which mine, your headset's looking like a truck driver. You driving trucks now?
I am. Well, I'm actually driving the Buc-ee's truck. I'm actually driving the Buc-ee's, and this is not only brought to you by Dude Wipes, which I'm going to need later, but I've got cherry maple beef jerky. They've got a million different flavors of jerky. I got the Bohemian garlic beef jerky and Steakhouse beef jerky.
Ooh.
Buc-ee's is legit. I got to tell you, this is my first time ever going. It's awesome. But yeah,
never miss an opportunity if you see a Buc-ee's. Cheap gas, great snacks, great food.
Yes, we went to Buc-ee's in South Carolina, but now we're in Georgia, and we're heading to Florida. So we're in Georgia right now. We're staying over in just south of Savannah.
Which South Carolina did you go to? Because that's my state.
South Carolina, it's Florence, South Carolina.
Okay, all right. So I haven't been to that one. I don't really get.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, I want to show. So Collision. My top performer. You said Fletcher. I was going back and forth. I gotta give it to Dustin or Fletcher just because it just tearing down the house. Some humongous high spots on that, but. Even one of those guys being my top performer, but I still think the match of the night. Well, no, I know the match of the night was FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang. The amount of, as I touched base earlier on the show, was like the amount of false finishes, the back and forth, the crowd, crowd love, everything about it. Like I legitimately 100% thought that the Bang Bang Gang was going to steal it. Now, looking at the bracket, of course, I want to see FTR versus Young Bucks.
Yeah,
it's an unfortunate thing that the path for FTR is through the Bang Bang Gang, but I feel like even with this loss, the momentum and the support behind those guys, Juice is growing the beard back, is there. We got the card played. We got card
Colton. That was awesome.
That entrance was the top entrance of the night.
Yes, that was pretty cool. Can't forget about Switchblade. Can't wait for him.
No.
To get back. I have a feeling he might have Forbidden Door.
Ooh,
I like that.
interesting.
That's what I'm.
They could have like a trios match set up, and maybe he'll be a surprise guest or surprise,
Yeah, let me move my phone over a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
So
one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah.
Lena Cross versus Chris match. That was a pretty good match.
All right, Lena Cross. Wow. First of all, I don't know. I think she's definitely was on the Indies for a while. I think she did some GCW, but I think she needs. I think that's someone that she definitely. If this was an audition, or if this was like a tryout, I think we're going to see her in AEW a lot. I think she might be one of those tier 0 contracts where they kind of like Lady Frost was for a while, or or before they signed Red Velvet. I like that matchup. I think Statlander needs to face like powerhouse women, and I think that's great. And I'd like to see Lena Cross and Megan Bain mix it up a little bit
because she looks like she's probably gonna be
there. We go,
sister.
Right?
Yeah, that was a great match. But I'd have to agree with that. The FTR and the Bang Bang Gang tag team match. That was really good. But
so good.
I'm glad Brodito advanced. I actually
yes.
Brodito is a cool combo. That it's as I said earlier in the show as well. Like it's the combo that we didn't expect we needed or wanted that we got. Same with like the Swerve Ospreay, and this is an incredible combo.
That finisher. Speaking of combos, that finisher where he where Brody kind of threw him and he flipped and landed on it. Like that was crazy. That was so crazy.
So crazy.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna throw up our recent rankings. I don't know if you've seen this, mine or Aaron, but this is where we're at, and we have a tie at the top with Steven and Ranger. Now I'm gonna need a discount double check on the Edition Mind Runner a little bit later if you check out our running Excel sheet, because I was doing this live and kind of last minute off the cuff. But look at that. We got a tie with Bobby and Cray really creeping away, nipping at our heels, and Steven and Ranger are fighting away for the top spot.
Nice.
Yeah. Gaining ground now.
Oh, sorry.
Ground.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
We still got almost 2 months of wrestling, and then I know All In was kind of a little bit of a wash, but we hit Forbidden Door and All Out are going to give us that +3 combo there. Oh, we lost Fine Runner. So for the bingo cards, whoever gets the most correct is going to get +3 points, which is going to be huge. So you're right on the edge of dethroning Mind Runner right now, Aaron.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
We have that bet, man. Whoever
if I keep having
Mind Runner,
and everybody else show up,
who's going to be wearing the chaps, Mind Runner, between me and you?
Hey, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I got 2 words for you. Guns up, baby. Guns up. And suck it.
That's right. And Beaver Nuggets.
Yes, and Beaver Nuggets. Beaver Nuggets. Good Lord, Bucky's.
Dustin Rhodes had one tonight. I've been tied with Mind Runner.
That's
What's
right.
that, Buck?
If Dustin Rhodes had one tonight, I'd have been tied with Mind Runner.
There you go.
Right. You want to get in this? You want
to capitalize on that opportunity for Fletcher. Like Dustin went out literally a bloody fighting champion. Incredible match to go out in. Yeah,
absolutely. I know. Aaron, do you want to get in on this? Do we continue? Do you want to be part of this contest? Do you want to see if you beat? How about if you beat SPD and I? We have to both put the chaps on and do the Young Bucks pose.
How I don't know if I can agree to these terms.
Sleep on it.
Remember, I work for a public agency. I don't think that would be okay for me to post on.
They're not
Sponsored.
apps. We're still going to be rocking.
Yeah, we're gonna be. I'll tell you what. We'll put on. We'll have a gun. We'll have Bang Bang Gang panties on, just like Juice had tonight. Has been wearing. So we'll have this.
That's been so funny.
I love it.
It's so funny. Oh, well, think about it. We'll bring back. We'll circle back in future episodes.
Yeah.
But a lot happened in 48 hours. A lot happened in our draft. A lot of fun stuff. We got 2 matches officially announced for Forbidden Door. I talked about it earlier. Okada versus Swerve official. Tony versus Athena official. So that alone is definitely worth your money at pay-per-view. That a lot more is in store. But yes, we're going to wrap up for tonight's show, episode 200 officially. We'll have to do an official kind of special show in the next week or so when we're back in our home studios, Mind Runner on it. So, but thank you everyone who's been a part of this moving forward. Cheers to another 200 episodes, and thank you for Aaron for joining us here to wrap up our show. And great seeing you guys. And we'll see you next week for 201. We got a new look, new colors, new intro, all setting the stage for the next era of Dynamite Download.
Heck yeah!
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeehaw.